have this jurisdiction that there's anybody that is underneath Islam do not have the same rights as the believers. So already there's a hierarchy. He's building the hierarchy up here. He's saying, listen, we are different than the rest of you. Not all religions are the same. It's almost like Animal Farm. Some people are more equal than others, as Animal Farm said. And this is another way of just saying that. We are not all equal, folks. There's some of us who are superior, is what he's saying. Well, let's move on. Let's see what he says next. For some Muslims living in the West, these laws sometimes form a source of embarrassment. Okay, Muslims, I'm talking to you now. Remember, he is from the West. He is from Houston. So now he's talking for those Muslims who have kind of beaten their chest about this and say, this is not right, this is not right. And he gets into that as he continues. How can we demand our rights when the Sharia doesn't seem to give those same rights to others, they say? Where still, some Muslims believe that these laws should be permanently rescinded as they are not conducive to the spirit of Islam, a spirit that is surprisingly modern in its notions of liberalism and religious freedom. Oh boy, are you seeing what? Are you finding? I mean, for me, this is fascinating. As I read this, and I said, "Goodness sakes!" So he's trying to tell these Muslims that are living in the West, you're borrowing something you shouldn't borrow. You're borrowing something that is not Islamic. Do not say this is not Islamic. Look at the spirit of this. The whole spirit of this is very modern, and it comes from liberalism and religious freedom. No, it does not come from liberalism, Yasir Qadhi. This comes straight out of the Bible. This is as Christian as you can get. Look at the Old Testament, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. This is the golden rule that's in the Old Testament. Matthew chapter Matthew chapter 7, verse 12, and Luke chapter 6, verse 31. That do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That is as biblical as you can get. It is not liberal. It has nothing to do with atheism. It has nothing to do with any other ism. It is uniquely biblical. And that's why here in the West we do have these ideals, and it's obvious that other Muslims feel a little uncomfortable with what you're saying. They're uncomfortable because they've come to the West because of these ideals. They have come to the West because of the freedoms we have, because of these freedoms. And you're saying here is that they shouldn't be seduced by this. Do not be seduced by these ideals. These are no, they're not liberal. These are biblical, and we live in a Judeo-Christian society, and that's why so many Muslims want to come here. So many Muslims want to live here. You have been brought up here, and you don't even realize this yet, Yasir Qadhi. Having been brought up here, you seem to have misunderstood exactly what it is that makes this country so unique and our culture so unique. He goes on and says, the reactions of some people to the announcement of returning the Hagia Sophia to a masjid is demonstrative of this mindset. Some people felt embarrassed or awkward. Many prominent individuals denounced the ruling as against the teaching of Islam. In other words, he's remonstrating against them. Shame on you for doing so. Why? Well, let's see what he says next. Much has been said in the last week, and there is no need to rehash it here. Just some thoughts. Now he's going to get into what he really means. The historical arguments for returning this structure into the masjid that the Ottomans used for 5 centuries is valid. Sultan Muhammad al-Fatih, who died in 1481, as the conqueror of the city, under both Islamic law and the norms of the time, had the right to convert it to a masjid. Oh, under Islamic law, true, but norms of the time? What norms is he talking about? Judeo-Christian law? No, I don't see anywhere that is the case. Where is it anywhere in the Bible that we are allowed to impose or take away or destroy, or not just destroy, but to take over other people's structure of worship? Not at all. Islamic law, yes. And let's continue on. Reports that he purchased the land are contested, and realistically, such a purchase would no doubt be under great duress. Who would sell such an iconic structure willingly? There is no need for us to go down this avenue, which is true. And I thought, well, he's coming back to his senses. But then look what he says. When the Reconquista expelled the Muslims from Andalusia, they converted thousands of masjids into churches, including the Grand Mosque of Cordoba, one of the largest and most magnificent masjids of the the world. So therefore he's saying, listen, this was done by you Christians, this was done by you Spanish. He was going to the Reconquista. Now, I don't think many of us would support the Reconquista. I don't think anybody who is a Christian today looking at that would say that's a model for Christianity. It's certainly not a model I see in the New Testament. But isn't it interesting? He's using as an example the mosque at Cordoba, without ever looking, and I don't think he's done his own history lesson. What do you think the Mosque of Cordoba was before it was a Mosque of Cordoba? Remember, this was long a Christian country, and long before the Mosque of Cordoba was built, it was known as the Catholic Christian Basilica of St. Vincent of Lerins.
Allahu, Allahu, Allahu.